Hello, my name is Samuel Harrison, and this is my final review presentation for the Bounding Box project. To begin, we drew our hands 18 times in order to study the contours of the hand in different positions. Shown here is my best one, the one in red, and the one I ended up going with for the project. Now, at this point in the project, we took our favorite drawing and made a hand out of wire based on that. Here you see two images of that hand, one without any lighting to create a heavy shadow, another with heavy lighting to create a shadow. Here we drew the hands in relationship to the light with the shadows. There are two different angles of light here. And this was the purpose of this was to study how light could affect the hand within a context of the bounding box itself. And as you'll see in the next slide, we use this to help design the the bounding box in the context of shadow related to the light. As you can see here, we have begun to design the bounding box illustrated with regulating lines placed along the hand and the shadow in order to demonstrate how the shadow and the hand itself interact and how they exist within the space. Now, at this point in the project, we designed the edges, the corners of the bounding box that would eventually become the full box. And I chose a design that used the thicker pieces to emphasize the edges. And as you'll see later, it helped to develop contrast with the rest of the box. Here we created an instruction booklet of sorts on how to build our box from the ground up with the pieces involved and the steps. Here we designed the cladding for the box. Now my bounding box had been designed from the beginning with the cladding in mind. As you can see, I used smaller pieces on the sides in order to contrast the thicker edges of the box. And I also have two completely open sides at the top and the bottom to demonstrate the openness of the box, two almost fully closed sides, and then two sides that are half open, half closed. It's all to demonstrate the combined openness and closedness of the box. Here we see the sections of the box demonstrating how some of the sides are almost near identical, but not quite. Once again, trying to show contrast and emphasizing the differences between between each side of the box. At this point, we were asked to create a display table of sorts for the box to go on within the Rhino environment. My design that I went with I decided to create an abstract version of the bounding box itself. You notice how the sides of the table, some of them are completely solid, some of them are completely open. Once again, demonstrating the contrast of the box. You have that little box in there that's meant to be the hand that would go within the box, and then the thicker defined edges versus the thinner edges that once again relate to the differences in the bounding box. And that goes with the display room itself. Once again, showing if you look at it from the side, you can't see the box, just like if you looked at it from certain sides in the bounding box, you couldn't see the hand, which I thought was very interesting and a great way to show my box. Contrast was a very important idea in this design, as well as several other themes that I discussed earlier, and this is our final physical model of the box. Any questions?